friends. Thank you as always for joining me here now, wherever and whenever you are, as we merge our consciousness together to share a peaceful moment to learn together. And as I share information with you, I am equally the student and you are equally the teachers. So I just want to point that out because that's been a topic coming up lately. Here behind me I have Malcolm Bendall's Plasmoid Unification Model, PUM. So we're going to look at that a little bit. I just got these two posters actually. Another one is power generation. It's got some Tesla information. But we'll look at this in a minute. But I wanted to speak from the heart, as always, and be a vessel of truth, pure truth for us all in this moment. So I wanted to start just by talking about the topic overall of writing our own life story. And this is something that we're all doing every minute of every day, really, without necessarily being fully aware of that reality. So if we consider this life as the ultimate video game, and this is just my avatar, I am consciousness, plasma, vortex, a field of information of a soul, you could say, that is vortexing into this body to be conscious and aware and write new stories and have experiences. And so from that viewpoint, this is the ultimate video game, and we get to feel like we're really a video game player inside of an avatar body if we're really in touch with our pure consciousness of who we are as a human being, the essence of each unique individual pixel of consciousness that is really just one part of the whole. And it's sort of an illusion we're playing as one consciousness to pretend, say, everything's peaceful, everything's perfect, everything's love, I'm one. Well, this is a little boring. Let me pretend I am two beings separate, and one of those beings, this is a cosmic joke that I like to share, is like the funniest joke ever, and always will be. This one consciousness says, let me play a game with myself and pretend I'm two. And the one part is going to say, I don't really like you very much. In fact, I hate you. And then the other part is going to say, what? What are you talking about? How's that even possible? Everything is just love. And then the other illusory, separate being says, oh, I know, you're right. It was just a joke. I know everything's love. I'm you. We're all one. Ha ha ha, wasn't that funny? And obviously that's just a very, small story of a small layer without any characters involved at all. But you could think of that as sort of polarity. That if everything is love, everything is pure consciousness, some call God, some call the quantum field, some call source, creator. There's infinite names for just this oneness that we are. That polarity that, well, I want this thing to be love, and I want to know that I am love. Well, then what is the opposite of love? And so if we think of it as a concept that's limited, as, to prefer something or to like something, I enjoy this. Well, if I can enjoy something, that means that I must have the capability to not enjoy something, to not like something. Polarity. You can't have hot without cold. It can't exist. The concept literally cannot exist without that opposite. But, hot becoming cold, becoming hot again, we know it's all temperature is a concept. But we have these polarities that make up this concept. And many of us right now are feeling as though we're moving beyond the concept of good and bad polarity. We're able to, you could say, rise above them, or not rise. I mean, it's really not like we're just zooming in at different layers of this structure of reality. So we can think ultimate base layer, everything is love, source, God, pure quantum field, whatever words, just the oneness. So we want to, from this oneness, we want to create complexity, and I am this human being named Hannah with an avatar. So I see it as there's many layers of reality, and I could put a microscope on my arm, and then I'm zooming in on the cellular layer. and I'm going to zoom way in, right? And I'm going to be looking at my existence. To me, that's a different layer because it's zooming in beyond what my eyes can do. And if you're going to go a high-powered microscope in a lab somewhere, then you can see even deeper to the elemental level, to the quantum level perhaps, depending on how powerful equipment you had, looking at my body. So I enjoy the practice of just seeing different layers of reality, and not as good or bad, better or worse. It's just zooming out. You know, you could zoom out to looking down on the entire planet of the Earth and it could just look like a sphere in front of you, like this big. But you would know that all of the Earth's population was on that sphere, and all the animals and all the plants. And wow, that's so incredible. And that would be like zooming out, you know? And so we zoom in, we zoom out, and it's all the same existence. We're just looking at it through different lenses, you could say. So, writing our life story. So, considering this is avatar body that we have as humans, and considering that we can look at reality from these different layers, and we say, okay, I created this experience, this level of complexity. This actually has a lot of parallels with computer engineering, which I've studied and I know quite a bit about. I lived in Silicon Valley for 5 years and studied machine learning, which is deeply connected to artificial intelligence. And I know how to program a basic website just by code, all that kind of stuff, and launch it on, can do basic stuff like that. So if you want to speak in computer, because the computer world, the digital world, is all made of zeros and ones fundamentally. Again, humans created a virtual representation, a model, so to speak, of our reality. Well, how did they do it? They started with this fundamental knowledge of everything is code, right? But then we decide, okay, the code can take the form of the 0 and 1, and all the colors on your screen, all the words, everything's being generated by zeros and ones. Everything in the digital world, absolutely everything. So we see how we can create this complexity with zeros and ones. So my avatar is it's a layer of complexity created with the zeros and ones of just plus and minus, positive and minus charge, positive and negative charge, plus and minus charge, and neutral charge, swirling energy. Back to the computer programming reference though, they will have an expression that the more basic the computer language is, the closer to the metal it is, the closer to the hardware it is. And meaning that you're going to have some code that's programmed directly to the hardware, but then you're going to have code that's malleable and changeable, and you want to be able to interface. So this beingness of myself and yourselves is far from the metal. I'm experiencing a human form as opposed to the atomic, electrons and protons and neutrons. You know, if we look at myself through that microscope, sure, then I'm experiencing myself on that layer by looking at it, or, there's a myriad of ways I'm sure I could do that. But this is a complex experience where we can create, I pick up, a colored pencil that someone else generated. I didn't need to make this for myself. We live in a world of complexity where a lot of things have already been created for us. So we don't need to generate everything ourselves from that atomic layer. So we can go on trips, we can travel, we can move to different parts of the earth. We can have exercise activities, go hiking, go swimming, running, dance. We can create, we can paint, we can draw, we can write, we can sing, we can play musical instruments. We can do meaningful, purposeful work, and we have so many choices as to what we can do. So we have a lot of choice built into our human experience that animals say they don't necessarily, that's not the experience they're looking for on their consciousness to grow. They're looking to just be in survival mode, in nature. It's sort of a different layer of existence, you could say, and a different way of operating. And things just kind of want to act naturally all the time, whereas humans, we know we have this mind, we have this ability to reason and question. Not that animals don't, I'm not going to close that door, but as humans, we know we have something special here. We are different on this planet, we know. So I see it as we have this really creative potential to write our own stories and to create our own experience here. And one of the exercises I've been engaging in regularly is writing down my ideal lifestyle and just writing words. And I just started with a blank piece of paper. I wrote my ideal lifestyle, Hannah Elliott Spence, right in the middle with a big heart and doing swirls and little drawings. And I just started to write down words. And sometimes those were concrete physical things like healthy sanctuary space to stay in wherever I am on the planet at all times. That's sort of a material thing with qualities. Now, other words I wrote down were things like compassion, caring, gentleness, things that I'm looking to cultivate as qualities of who I am as a person. Other things are somewhat between the physical and a human attribute. It would say like family relationships. I want to have caring, loving family relationships where we have new experiences together and we make new memories together, and I want to have strong family relationships. So those are physical people, but our relationship to one another is an etheric sort of thing, and it's not something the mind can really go about creating. It's feeling in the heart what we want. Really, all of this is about taking the mind out whenever possible. Taking the mind out of the equation, except for the ability to use the screen of our mind and project from our heart. We know in our heart what we love. We know what brings us joy. We know the people in our life that are meaningful to us, that we care about and want to have healthy relationships with. So we ask the heart, what brings me joy? What do I crave in my life to live a fulfilled, meaningful, purposeful, joyful life with strong, healthy human relationships and harmonious relationship with the planet and all these sorts of things. Harmonizing the divine male and female energies within so that we have healthy relationships with every other human on the planet. There's so many positive intentions we can write. So I just wanted to share that I've been practicing that regularly and looking at it, and I'll add words that are related to each other. I might be writing about physical activities, and then they all want to come in. Again, swimming, jogging, running, all the things I love to do, dance, rock climbing. And then when I'm talking about art, painting, drawing, writing, singing, all of the artistic activities want to come in. And qualities like gentleness and caring and compassion, they also sort of want to come in together at times. But going around and filling in those blank parts of the page has just been meaningful. And at the end, each time I do it, my intention is always to burn it, because by burning the paper, it then gets released into the ether. The carbon from the paper, it goes, this alchemical transmutation, it's representative of letting it go and then allowing it to come into our beingness. So it is a sort of a ceremony that we can all be in ceremony. We really are all the time. Everything could be considered ceremony, but when we have practice of, when we put intention into our ceremony, we make it meaningful and we let it go, because 5 years from now, that page will look a lot different. It will be different every time I create it. And we're always iterating who we are, and we're always iterating this human experience. So just a reminder that our thoughts and the content that we consume is what generates our reality. So being intentional about what we think about and the music we listen to, and while being human and having fun with life. And I work to just be relaxed about it all and know that I can transmute anything around me all the time. But that being said, I like to take in consciously take in material that is connected to the material that I want to generate, because this is a closed loop system. Everything around us is holographic reality. There's physics formulas behind this, physics theories, serious physics work to prove that this is just a hologram. We're each generating our own hologram. Again, like the video game metaphor, it's what makes it so perfect. It's really the truth. It's like it's the ultimate video game you could ever imagine. So anyway, that will wrap up that section. So just to remember that we're super powerful creators and we really can write our own life story, and a lot of times it's just opening our mind to being able to believe that can really be our reality, whatever the situation is. Just to really believe that we can move to a situation that is more suitable to us in some ways perhaps, but to know that process is ongoing. So to really love where we are at the moment, to know we created all of it, that is sort of an important first step. Because if there's any kind of resentment or thinking that we didn't create it and feeling like a victim when really we're writing all of it all the time, that's a healthy first step, is just to really grateful for who we are and where we are in our life and everything that came before. Then to just take the reins and know, okay, let's just write a great story on our own and then together, collectively with others. So, speaking of writing a great story, I just wanted to share a little bit about this poster that I got. I got it from, let's see. So Malcolm Bendall is the inventor. I'm trying to move it fully. And this is his Plasmoid Unification model. So I got it from, let's see, just want to get the name right in case someone wants to buy it. I'm blanking. Okay, I'll put it in the show notes. I'll just put the link. How about that? He was at this event in North Carolina where I got to meet all these guys. So let's look at the poster. Let's zoom in. So right here, try to get it where you can see it. We have the sun in the middle, or at the top, I guess. And you can see it's 864,000 miles diameter. And then if you look to the right, we've got the square of that. So you square 864,000, you get 3,456,000. And then below that we have the moon. And the moon's diameter is 2,160 miles. If you square that, you get 8,640. And then below that, we have the Earth. We have the diameter is 7,920 miles. If you square that, you get 31,680. So right off the bat, one thing we can see is if you see the square of the moon, 8,640, that fits neatly into the diameter of the sun, 864,000, being exactly 100 times bigger. So you see there is a very intriguing connection right there. There's way more to it than that. You can see where he's got 108 times 864,000, also 108 times 2160. So I have yet to dive into this, but I just kind of wanted to give an overview. You can see the next layer is these are notes. This is BAGFEDC, and then it's a space, which I want to ask Malcolm what that represents. And then it goes on again, violet B, and indigo A, blue G, green F, yellow E, orange D, and red C. The next layer you have are the elemental crystal forms. So it starts with being inert, and then it goes to monad, which would mean 1, dyad, which would represent 2, triad representing 3, onto tetrad representing 4, and then it goes back to triad, dyad, monad, and back to inert. And then beyond that, he's got the elemental valencies, which are 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, and which seems to also be +4. And then +3, +2, +1, 0, and then around the other way, the same thing. Beyond that, we have the elements 1 through 16, and then we have the elements 17 to 32, elements 33 to 48. After that, we have elemental frequencies, and you can see this is 1,620 multiples of that. It's going around like a clock, like 12 stages of a clock. You see, I'm just gonna skip ahead here. You can see the zodiac, you see the seasons, some in there, and then we have all these numbers, which I'm not gonna go through right now because I really have yet to go through them myself. So I will read a little bit more though. It says that it's ether, light, energy, 144,000, 6D, 6.666, and then we have the sun, 864,000, 5D, 5.555. Let's see here. The colors, so this pink is representing ether and light, this purple is representing the sun, is violet color. This green is time. It says time is the mold in which matter is formed. And the numbers for time are 518,400. It says 4D, 4.444. And then over here we have matter in the brown color. And that number for that is 3,456,000. That's 3D. 3.333. So these are sort of these quadrants, and there's all kinds of numbers here. Okay, and I guess this is where he's showing 864,000 miles is the sun's diameter. 86,400 seconds in 1 Earth day. So that's exactly 10 times. Yeah, if you take the seconds in 1 Earth day, multiply it by 10, you get the exact diameter of the sun in miles. Wow. Okay, see that? See how he's connecting space and time? Because Dan Winter frequently talks about how it's all relative rotation of spin. Time is just relative rotation of spin, that's all. So if you have two bodies rotating differently, they're gonna have different time. Now, we have time existing so that we can experience matter. Matter flows through time. Things are created and then destroyed as time, as bodies are rotating. So, connecting the seconds in 1 day to the diameter of the sun. Now, if you take the seconds in a day and you divide it by 10 instead of multiplying it by 10, you get the square of the moon. So it's not the diameter of the moon, it's, oh gosh, you know what? I was totally wrong. Okay. So square is basically multiplying by 4. I thought he was, he said square, so I thought he was multiplying it by itself, but I didn't look closely. I'm learning this as I go, folks, okay? I'm not afraid to make embarrassing mistakes. So I hope you enjoy that, and you can just remember we're all learning this together and the fun of that. So the square, so he has it right here, 4 times the diameter. So if you take the diameter of the moon, 2,160 miles, you multiply it by 4, you get 8,640 miles. So the square, the moon's square. So that would be basically like the perimeter. If you were to put a square around the sphere of the moon, what would the perimeter of that square be? Like if you were to just add up the sides. So you take the moon's square and you multiply that by 10 and you get the seconds in 1 Earth day. So, and then you take the seconds in 1 Earth day, you multiply it by 10 and you get the diameter of the sun. So it's this very specific, obviously not coincidental relationship between the Earth, the time on the Earth via seconds, the moon, square, and the diameter of the sun. So there's a lot more here. I suppose I'll read this section at the bottom. That might be, and yeah. How about I do that? I'll hold it here so you can read it while I read it. Those of you that like to hear, hopefully you enjoy my voice. And apologies for the glare for anyone that wants to read. I'm just doing the best I can to help share this with you all. So, the plasmoid unification model, molten sea arc atomic reconstruction technology, MSAART. Plasmoids are donut or toroidal shaped clusters of net protons or net electrons that, once captured and placed into a toroidal orbit, are capable of absorbing, storing, and releasing enormous amounts of energy present within their self-generated and structured electromagnetic containment field. Plasmoids, in effect, function as an atomic battery that can be self-charging due to its ability to convert matter to available clean energy. Plasmoids, by their unique geometry, cause a consequential electromagnetic containment field to generate a zero point naturally and causally, without much effort, have the ability to convert the nuclear mass of protium atoms into energy. The plasmoid unification model posits that plasmoids are epoch-making and that knowledge of them has been hidden in plain sight for centuries. This PUM slide rule reveals the algorithmic relationships between life's elements critical to mankind's existence and development. It starts with protium, hydrogen, which has a melting point of negative 259.2 degrees Celsius and is the most abundant element in our solar system. Protium determines the 25,920 great year frequency of our solar system. The resonant frequencies of all other elements can then be calculated when 25,920 years is reduced from years to days, hours, and seconds. The PUM is evidence that the universe is an intelligent design. I'm just going to read that one more time because it felt really good to say it. The universe is an intelligent design. That design is in perfect octave harmonic resonance with itself. Therefore, all of creation, from galaxies to planets to elements, all resonate in unison with a collective chord, as above, so below. This is interconnected with an energy web, the 24 components and laws of which are all based and governed on the same 16-sector torus plasmoid precepts shown. The concepts and ruling principles of the PUM can and have been applied to make energy to matter and matter to energy conversions. When applied to the modern hydrocarbon-powered internal combustion engine, PUM technology removes exhaust, toxic waste products, and increases the engine power output by transforming waste energy back into fuel. Plasmoids employed in conjunction with the plasmoid toroidal implosive turbine provide a new novel matter-to-energy and energy-to-matter propulsion device for water, land, air, and space travel. So that's that. And then I guess while we're at it, I'll just show you, see, here's the key that shows you the 24 layers. It's almost like a tree, and he's lined up. So it's sort of like a clock. I mean, you could think there's 12 sections, but then there's 24 layers. But then let's see if I count. Actually, there's way more. Let me see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 4 is 32. Yeah, 32 of these lines. But when you're in the center here, there's less, there's fewer. So anyway, I will be studying this now that I have the posters. I have them mounted. So I suppose that wraps it up. There will be much more to come, like I've said before, or I said in, I think, my most recent video. Yes, my goal right now is to get one of these thunderstorm generator devices installed on one of my 2 vehicles so that I can start showing others that this is real, because I saw it with my own eyes and experienced it, and it's super magical. And the fact that if we can get our butts in gear and start putting these, because there's actually 2 devices out there. There's the GEET, which has been out for 4 decades now, Global Environmental Energy Technology. that's been, you know, again, hidden in plain sight. It's like, this stuff is already here. So if we get our butts in gear, get it, her garage is comfortable, workspace clean and organized, and start modifying our vehicles, again, we can dramatically increase the miles per gallon and drastically eliminate the emissions. I witnessed it with my own eyes where they had, I'll have to try to see if any of my friends took video footage of that, but there's video footage out there where they're showing the oxygen output, the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide as it's being run. You can find it online. Jordan Collins' Alchemical Science channel, like I mentioned in the last video, has a lot of footage from the event that I went to in North Carolina. A lot of raw footage. You just hear people like Malcolm talking about this stuff. So anyway, very exciting. I will for sure be doing videos as soon as I get something installed and start showing it to people. I'll definitely be sharing that with you all. So I'm also talking to someone who's very involved with the GEAT technology about starting classes and starting to teach this, because I figure if I can come up with the money for the generator and all the parts, and he's got the know-how, and he knows other people that have built GEAT, I want to get that going too. I really want to look at both of them. I think they're both unique in key ways. The GEAT, again, has a free spinning reactor rod, but that they've been able to make incredible achievements with that technology as well. And it's just been, you know, undercover or behind closed, you know, hard to find, just a few people knowing about it, and we're at the point now where we need this all to get out. So I'm going to be looking at both of them. I will be soon hopefully sharing a video of the GEAT in operation on a generator. So that is soon to come, and working with that individual to get everything going to where we can really share this important information with all of humanity. So thank you so much. Thank you thank you as always for joining me. I'm a little bit hungry. I genuinely appreciate you all caring about this information and wanting to be a part of the journey with me. And so more to come soon, but until then, I hope you all enjoy writing your beautiful, wonderful life stories. And just, you know, one of the things that my friend Elas has shared that resonates is, you know, everything works out for me all the time. And we can all just start saying that and knowing that to be true, because it really does. And so, but we can get faster to that point of like, wow, everything really does work out for me all the time, you know? The more we say it, think it, believe it, it's just, you know, these little mantras can go a long way. So I encourage you to try that, and any other little things that we can tell ourselves that I love my life. Everything it couldn't be better. So, cheers. Much love. Talk to you soon.